You know that feeling, right? Summer hits, your place gets weirdly warm, kind of stuffy. You've got the AC running, maybe an old fan going, but it doesn't quite cut it. Still got those hot spots, weak airflow. It's frustrating. I know you sent to sources looking for something better, and honestly, after digging in, what we found about these devices people often call just a fan, it's really something. Okay, let's unpack this. Because what if one small gadget could actually fix that whole summer struggle?
That's exactly it. Today, we're taking a close look at your sources on circulator fans. Why? Because they are genuinely so much more than they appear. Our mission here really is to give you the shortcut. Understand the engineering behind them, how versatile they are, and the surprising perks for comfort all year round, plus potential energy savings. By the end, you should feel totally clued in, ready to, maybe transform your indoor climate.
Transform is the right word. You hear fan, you picture a simple breeze. But the sources paint such a different picture. There was this one story that really stood out. Someone grabbed one mostly for the look, sleek, small, didn't take up much space, didn't expect much performance wise. And then, bam, they were completely blown away, literally, by how it cooled the entire room. Way better than their old fan. No more hot corners, no weak zones, just even coolness. That was their aha moment. And it really captures what these things can do. Okay, so they look like fans, they push air like fans. What is the actual difference? What makes a circulator fan tick differently than a regular one? What's the secret sauce in the engineering that leads to that kind of aha moment you mentioned?
Right, what's fascinating here is the fundamental design goal. It's totally different. Your standard fan, it's all about direct cooling, blowing air right at you. Makes you feel cool in that one spot.
Mm.
A circulator fan, though,
Hmm.
it's engineered differently. It creates this tight, focused column of air. Think of it like a beam. It travels across the room, hits a wall or the ceiling, and bounces off. This starts a continuous current, almost like a gentle whirlpool of vortex throughout the entire room. It pulls in that stagnant, still air and keeps everything moving. That's how it gets rid of those stuffy spots or hot corners you mentioned. It evens things out.
So it's less about the direct blast and more about getting all the air in the room moving, circulating to even out the temperature. That does sound like a game changer for just feeling comfortable everywhere. And I guess maybe you'd even feel okay setting the thermostat a degree or two higher because the air isn't just sitting there.
Precisely. That constant movement combats those hot and cold pockets. You often can feel comfortable at a slightly higher temperature. And it's not just about cooling. Here's where it gets really interesting. The sources show just how versatile these things are. You compare them with other appliances to really boost efficiency.
Okay, yeah, I saw that. Like they work with your other stuff. Tell us more about that synergy.
Absolutely. Think of it as an amplifier for your home's climate control. So take your air conditioner. You run it, but maybe one corner stays warm. With a circulator, you tilt it up, maybe 45 degrees towards a wall or the ceiling. That angle's kind of important. It lets that beam of air bounce and spread, starting that whole room circulation. It distributes the cool air much, much faster. We saw feedback like, I don't even need to blast the AC anymore. My electric bill dropped too. And, hearing about lower electric bills is always good news. Rooms cooling down quicker. It just works better.
That's huge. Lower AC bills in the summer. Sign me up. Everyone feels that pinch.
It really is significant. And it's not just for AC season. The sources pointed out year-round benefits. When it's cold and you've got the heat on,
Hmm.
point the circulator down. Why? Because heat rises, right? It gets trapped up high. Pointing down pushes that warm air back into the living space, makes the heating more even, and with a dehumidifier or an air purifier, same idea. Run the circulator any direction, really, and it just speeds up the air exchange, making those appliances much more effective. We saw comments like, my room used to be stuffy and damp, now it's fresh and breezy all day. That tells the story. Oh, and they're great for drying clothes indoors faster, especially when it's humid or rainy. Even in the bathroom after a shower speeds up drying, helps fight mold and mildew.
Wow. Okay. So comfort making other things work better, and the big one, energy savings. Those lower bills are definitely a major plus. Any common misunderstandings about how much power they actually use?
Good question. That's a key selling point, actually. Circulator fans themselves are usually very energy efficient, often 30, maybe even 50% less power than a typical pedestal fan. Now, obviously, an AC unit uses way more electricity overall, no comparison there. But the smart play is using the circulator with an energy-efficient AC. You're not running the AC harder, you're making the cool air it produces work smarter, spread further. So you can often run the AC less or at a lower setting. That's where the savings come in. Especially look out for ones with DC motors that's direct current. They sip power and are often super quiet, too.
Okay, this is all great info. So, what does this all mean for you, the listener? How do you actually use one of these things to get the best results in your own space based on what the sources say?
Yeah, let's get practical. The sources give some solid tips. For that whole room circulation we talked about, again, that 45-degree angle towards a wall or the ceiling seems to be the sweet spot. Remember, you want the air to bounce and spread. But hey, if you just want a strong breeze right on you, go for it. Aim it directly. They can do that too. For sleeping, definitely look for a silent mode or low setting. Undisturbed rest is key. Size-wise, the advice seems to be 6 to 8 inches for personal use, maybe a small bedroom or office, bump up to 9 to 12 inches for bigger spaces like living rooms or master bedrooms.
And what about the blades? Does the number of blades matter much?
It does play a role. Generally, more blades tend to give you a softer, sort of gentler, more distributed airflow. That's usually the goal for circulators even, lasting comfort. Fewer blades often mean a stronger, more focused blast of wind. And it's worth repeating. Even if you don't have AC, a circulator fan makes a big difference just by improving airflow. It makes the room feel cooler. Of course, the sources mentioned other non-AC cooling tricks too, like cross-ventilation with windows, using a dehumidifier, turning off hot electronics. Even that old trick of putting ice water in front of a fan can give a temporary chill. The circulator just adds a constant baseline improvement.
Right. So, if someone's listening and thinking, okay, I'm interested, what are some of the top brands or models that the sources recommended?
The sources consistently brought up three main players. First, Vornado. They're kind of the premium name, famous for their patented Vortex airflow tech, really leaning into that unique circulation engineering. Their vintage style ones got a shout out too, like an aesthetic treat and functional powerhouse in one. Nice combo. Then there's Iris Ohama, apparently a huge bestseller in Japan. Known for simple modern looks, being really quiet but still powerful. Great if you care about minimalist design. And finally, Honeywell, described as wildly popular. Why? Usually affordability, that look decent, fit into most rooms, and just offer solid, reliable performance without breaking the bank. A great budget-friendly pick.
Good to have options across different price points and styles. Okay, before we wrap this up, let's hit some common questions people might still have, just to clear everything up.
Yeah, definitely. A big one is, can a circulator replace my regular fan? And the answer is basically yes. You can point it right at you for direct breeze if you want, or use it for the whole room circulation. It's flexible. Another one, is it effective on its own without AC? Absolutely. Just moving the air makes a noticeable difference in perceived coolness.
Yeah.
Does it feel cooler than a regular fan? Well, especially when paired with AC or a dehumidifier, yes, because it spreads that cool, dry air so much better and faster.
Okay, and this is important. Can you just use a regular fan, like a circulator, like point your old box fan at the ceiling and hope for the best?
Ah, good clarification. Not really, no. It's about the design. Regular fans just aren't built to create that focused, long-range beam of air needed for true whole-room circulation. They're designed for that direct, close-range cooling. Different tools for different jobs, essentially. And one last comparison people ask about, tower fans versus circulators. Tower fans definitely move air, but the sources suggest they can be louder, maybe less ideal for constant background use. Circulators, particularly those DC motor ones, tend to win on efficiency and quiet comfort for that always-on indoor air movement.
What a journey. We started maybe thinking of these as just another fan, maybe a bit sleeker, but now, hopefully, you see them as this really clever, versatile tool, something for year-round comfort, better efficiency. It's genuinely about more than just moving air. It's about changing how your home feels.
And, this raises an important question. Thinking beyond just fans, how many other seemingly simple things around our homes, other technologies, do we maybe overlook? How much potential for comfort or efficiency are we missing out on just because we don't fully grasp the design principles behind them or how they're really meant to work? Makes you wonder, doesn't it?